guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's get into this new one from Alex Garland. Civil War from A24. Trailers have made this film out to look like it's going to be some sort of epic war film, which they have. The posters have come out and made it look like it's going to be this epic war film, which they have. The title of the film is called Civil War. So surely that will be a focal point of the film. It's not. Yeah, guys, I can't lie. I didn't love this film. Just straight off the bat, we're going to be getting into full spoilers here, guys. So if you don't want to hear my grievances with the film, back out. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend this. Or I would listen to the review, get what the film's actually about, then maybe decide for yourself. But full spoilers going in this one. Right. We have got 4 journalists here. We've got Kirsten Dunst playing Lee, who's like a famous photographer. People know her work in she's a war journalist. We've got Wagner Mora, I think, playing Joel, who's like part of the press, and he's a guy who's going to be interviewing the president, which is where they're trying to get to, by the way. Kaylee Spaney, who's a young buck of the film, who she's a rookie, essentially. She wants to get into the photography journalism side of things, and she hitchhikes along with these other journalists to the disdain of Kirsten Dunst's character. But then we get Stephen Henderson, who plays Sammy, who's part of the press as well, but he's part of the competition press, but he's taken a ride with these guys as well. It's basically a road trip movie to the White House. We have rebel factions that are on the way to the White House to take out the president. So it's a race against the clock to try and get to the White House first so they can get the last interview done with the president. So before I get to why I'm not a mega fan of this movie, I'll shout out some positives. Total filmmaking aspect of this, including the cinematography, it looks beautiful. A24 films normally do, and especially Alex Garland, to be fair. Sound design will blow your head off. Every time there's a gunshot, it's like, whoa, get out the fucking way, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like you're getting shot in the cinema, or I might have just had good speakers. I don't know. But sound design seemed like it was pretty fire. As far as the performances go, there's some performances here that I really did love. Jesse Plemons, when's Jesse Plemons not good? Do you know what I mean? And he's not in this film for a long time. He's in one sequence that they unfortunately show in the trailer. That was a bad move. They shouldn't have done that, but I get why. It's an important scene. It was sort of, that's the thing that sort of got me to go and see this film, is just like, whoa, that looked intense. And he brings the intensity, as he always does in most of his performances. Quite interesting here that there was an actor who was supposed to do that performance, and he dropped out last minute, and then Kirsten Dunst was like, yeah, my husband will do it. And thank God her husband's Jesse Plemons, because he just made that sequence so good. Second best sequence in the film. I'll get to my favorite, which is the last sort of 15 minutes of this film can't be undervalued as being anything but really fucking intense. I mean, the gunplay, the actual siege on the White House, all great stuff. The way it's filmed, it's visceral, it feels tangible. Awesome stuff. Unfortunately for me, I think there's just been a total miscommunication with the audience before seeing this film. This film just wasn't what it said on the tin. I don't feel like the film is called Civil War, not Civil Journalists or whatever. Do you know what I mean? This, at its core, is about war journalism, and to be specific, it's about photo journalism. So if that floats your boat or not, you know, that's going to be sort of a crux of whether you like this film or not. In my eyes, not to be really harsh, but like, I feel like there's films out there that have done journalism so much better. take Spotlight that came out a few years back. That was awesome. But I think what the focal point of the movie is to see what it takes to become a photojournalist and sort of what it's like to be in these situations, seeing horrific things week in, week out, and what that does to you as a person, which Kirsten Dunst does represent really well. That is one of the things that is done well. She does represent what like being a war journalist can do to you, and it's all over her face. Mainly one expression, to be fair. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But anyway, my thing is here. It feels like whenever I've watched Alex Garland, the director, talk about this film, he gets put off the idea of people focusing on the Civil War aspect of the movie, which I find hilarious. Call your film something else. If you don't want people to focus on that, put something else on the poster that isn't a bunch of soldiers or rebels or whatnot. It just, I think the movie has been misbranded, and almost I feel like they've shot themselves in the foot, because if they wanted the focal point to be war journalism, specifically photography, which they do make a really good attempt at, it's lost because of your background noise that the whole internet and world have been arguing about like, oh, is this Civil War film going to choose a side or whatever? No, that's not what the film's about. The film's about photojournalism. So if you don't want people to talk about that aspect of it, I don't think it should have been in the film, full stop. Set this film elsewhere in, I don't know, overseas somewhere, not something where you know it's going to be a talking point to your film. You're going to have people talking about this. You're going to have people coming out being angry about it because there was no side took, or people are going to see it's woke or whatever the crack. Do you know what I mean? So I think Alex Garland shot himself in the foot in that aspect. One of the other things that didn't really gel with me is that we see how hardened Kirsten Dunst has become by war journalism. So I find it hard to believe that in the third act of this film, near the ending, that she suddenly has PTSD from, she has an attack, basically, when she's already been in some really horrific, arguably worse situations than what was going on there. Then suddenly she has PTSD. It took me out the film a little bit. I thought that's sort of convenient for the emotional stakes of this final act. Didn't really gel with me. But yeah, guys, I can't really. I struggle with this review and this film a little bit. It took me a while to get my thoughts together about this, and I'm still up and down with it. I don't know whether it's a 2.5 stars out of 5 or it's a 3 stars out of 5, but that's where I'm hovering at the moment. I found myself pretty bored until the final act. The situations that our characters find themselves in feel realistic, they do, but I want tension, I want fear, I don't know, I felt like I could probably survive in this sort of depiction of America. Well, I probably couldn't. I'm totally lying there. But things just didn't seem that bad. Or if they did, they weren't depicted on screen enough for me to be really invested. I think the character development was quite weak. If Kirsten Dunst's character changes in that last split second, this person who was initially not wanting to take a rookie on board because they get shot, and that she basically said that, know what you're coming into when you join us here. And I don't know, man. It just, even her taking the bullet for it at the end seemed a little bit out of place, bit over dramatic, and that's where the film sort of ends. And I didn't like that ending. Can't lie, guys. The fade to white didn't really work for me. Yeah, it's a weird one, this, folks. Don't know if I can recommend it or not. It's maybe worth going to see it for yourself, make up your own mind, but maybe go into it with slightly different expectations. You're not going in to watch a war film. You're going in to watch a film about photojournalism. So, does that float your boat or not? Anyway, that'll do for me. I'll catch you later.